We'll go ahead and get on to the next step. Okay, so we're going to be checking out the new Shadow Dropped demo for Outbound. So basically, there's kind of like no heads up, no warning. They're just like, boom, demo. They were kind enough to reach out and give me a key for the demo like a day or two ago. I don't believe you need a key to get to the demo, but basically they let us know it was coming and all that. But with that said, we're going to be checking out Outbound, which from my understanding is kind of survival crafter based around your little RV here, your minivan, whatever you want to call it. I always like to check games to see what accessibility stuff we have in the game. Apparently, if you don't like the boomboxes, you can mute them. You can choose whether or not to have subtitles, which is always good. You can adjust the day length if it feels like it's going too fast or slow. You can turn off the flashing screen and all that. You can change the scale of the UI. I'm going to make it... Well, right now I'll leave it at its default. There is multiplayer. I'm going to hide the multiplayer code even though I'm not doing multiplayer right now. You got your basic settings here. Not a whole lot to say there. Different controller support. It does notice it's recognizing my Dvorak keyboard to begin with, so I don't have to worry about reconfiguring all that. And multi-language support. So a bunch of good stuff in there. And imagine the camera, all that. Let me go ahead and actually, before I forget, let's unpin this. Dang, now you can't sneak in. Yep, let's unpin this, and let me quickly go in and turn off the sponsor timer. The Norse command will still work for anyone who, they did like what they saw in the last game, and wants to click the link on that, because that kind of stuff does help the channel when we do have a sponsored stream. It is good to... it does help if you, click on the links and all that, because all those links are tracking links, so let the devs know you got through there. Alright, so with that said, before we get into it, check out Treacle, another fantastic content creator on the platform. Plays a lot of similar games what we play here and all that stuff. Show sponsor, we are real viewers and not bots, pretty much. And that there was interest there, that they spent money to have the game played on stream, and that money did something for them. For the record, this is not sponsored. Norse Oath of Blood was sponsored, this is not sponsored. This is just the devs let us know it's coming and all that. It is a game that's been kickstarted and has been a very, very popular game that people have been itching to come out. And we're getting there. Alright, so we're gonna start a new journey. So we need to make our license plate. Okay, so it's 6 digits. Ethical-ish, as best we can. So we can choose the vehicle of the Classic, the Pathfinder, the big one. So the Classic has a relatively good... Almost. Yeah, I'm lost. Oh, you're hoping for Krabby? Yeah, we can do that. So the Classical's all around, so right in the middle in carrying capacity, slightly below middle in handling, slightly above middle in building space. The Pathfinder has terrible building space, slightly above in the carrying weight, really good handling, and then the big one has tons of building space, really good carrying weight, bad handling. But for the demo, the Classic's the only one available. We can choose our license plate style, which is basically moving the dash around and all that stuff. Alright, so we can choose our colors. Alright, so we're going to make it pretty bright orange. Actually, the accent should probably... No, we can do it this way. Trying to make it grayish. Once again, even with the color saturation turned down, that grayish is looking awfully brown, like a bronze. In that case, I'll do orange and black. Driving camera, dashboard behind the vehicle. Okay, so we'll try the dashboard. So you can change it later. Okay, so we can hit randomize a couple times just to get an idea of the variety. So, little variance. It looks like the builds are pretty static. Yeah, so there's just feminine, masculine. A couple different skin tones. Looks like we got 8 different hairstyles. So there's bald. Oop, okay, that went back. Okay. So we got hairstyle 1. I was trying to zoom in to see if I could see, like, the back of the hair to, like, get a better idea. I honestly might just do the default. So we can either do, like... You're gonna do, like, platinum blonde, tones of red, brown, white, or extreme dyes. Sure, we'll go for purple. And the facial features... Okay, I have to know. So, for feminine characters, the facial feature changes your eyebrows. For masculine characters, your eyebrows are what they are, and it changes your beard. Which is certainly an interesting thing. Okay. So, shirt style. So we can have like a weird t-shirt with a weird popped collar kind of thing, and a pocket. We can have a vest with pockets, sort of a sports jersey, like a hoodie, but instead of a hood, you've got again a extreme popped collar. There we go. Glove colors. I also like there is no do you or do you not have gloves? You have gloves. That's just the way it is. Fingernails. Oh, so you can dye your fingernails to get them different colors. Well, we're gonna have to do that now. It was an option. Okay, so we're gonna have orange fingernails that you just can't really see. Pant style, so we have like kind of baggy pants with sort of like zip up ankles, so like that kind of thing. The question is, do you got some cargo pants? We got sort of tight-fitting mountain pants with knee pockets. Not quite as tight with thigh pockets. We got like mountain climbing shorts. Going khaki. Footwear, we have like regular kind of sneakers, hiking boots. We can't actually see the top of it. We got Crocs. We got what looks like boots. Different boots. We're definitely doing Crocs. All right. That is certainly a look. It is certainly a selection that exists in this universe. Welcome to the Outbound demo. Thank you for playing the Outbound demo. This demo represents an early look at the experience we're building. You'll be able to explore a section of the first biome with your trusty camper van. The full game contains 3 more biomes, as well as more options for vehicles to choose from, and all kinds of other content. And of course, the full version also contains your lovely canine friend and partner. Important notice, your progress in this demo will not carry over to the full game. Have fun playing the demo. And thank you, Stoka, for the 70 stream streak. I do appreciate it. Day 1. I'm hitting all the wrong buttons because it got me confused. Alright. Drive around with your vehicle. Okay.
I drove until the gray of the city faded from my mirrors. Now, the open road and this camper van are all I call home. Time to start my adventure.
Find a nice spot to stop and exit your vehicle. Oh, there we are.
Let's see what's inside. Would you look at that?
Alright. Open your map and track the fire lookout. You can track the landmark. Find a way to the fire lookout. Also sidetrack quest to light more campfires.
This barrier seems broken. Let me see if I can make a wrench to fix it.
A wrench is required. Find the signal tower next to the parking lot to download the blueprint. Okay. Hey, Snowy Mist, how's it going? You still want this game? Now you want to play the demo or not? Yeah. Check downloads.
Ah, another signal tower.
Choose a blueprint to download. The blueprint will become available in your crafting or building. Not chosen blueprints will become available download later. We can download, so download the blueprints to craft the essential things. We'll unlock shoe, hammer, wrench.
Yes, now I can use a new blueprint.
Alright. So we'll need to craft this at our workbench. Do I open the car? That's a fun little workbench. Alright. Craft useful tools for permanent upgrades for your vehicle. They got scrap metal, wood, fiber, and metal. So I'll need to find scrap metal, which I'm assuming this is scrap metal. And if you don't like the little dip animation, it did look like we can turn those off. Okay, so we're going to be able to work on our engine. Multiplayer co-op has been unlocked.
Time to hit the road.
And we'll of course leave our fire unattended, as any responsible person would. I am noticing on the bottom right, just right here, there is a temperature gauge from my engine. I'm not seeing a fuel gauge. Oh, there is on the bottom left, there's like an electric charge or energy charge or whatever. Which I assume is the capacity there.
A perfect spot to set up camp.
And sit down, we can do fire things.
More stuff for the recycler. Let's take a look what's in here.
Okay. So it wants me to craft a hammer, which is going to require more wood. We also have the shoe, which is going to require more fiber. So don't just run up and thwack tree. So let's go pick up some more wood. Make an axe to get wood. I have not had the opportunity to make an axe. The tool icon is an axe, but it didn't appear to be something within the tools like that self. Because I look here, that's to switch between tools and all that. But it wants me to make a hammer. It's sort of like if I Am Future had like a crafting exploration style game instead of, you know, the surviving on the roof kind of thing.
What a beautiful fire.
Is this the 4th millennium of the old Federation? The star system has broken down? Trying to get wood. Alright, so open the build menu. So we have a wood counter, recycler, a folding chair, and a potted plant. So I need to get a little bit more. Yeah, no, I really liked I Am Future. I ended up playing through the whole thing, like almost every major update while it was in early access, and then when it finally released, I also did a full playthrough on streams. We got road berries. Road berries are quite, or let's see, road berries are quite endangered before the invention of the automobile. All right, so we have learned that there is a carry capacity. Doesn't really surprise me. So far, though, the consequence doesn't seem very significant. Okay, so you can grab the recycler.
Huh. A load off my back.
Oh, okay.
Huh.
So it seems like I'm not going to be able to just do that directly. So I need to make a counter. Let's see, I Am Future got a ton of bad PR with lots of its coming soon features being deleted in 1.0. I'm trying to think what wasn't included in that. Yeah, like I'm trying to think, because there was the different rooftops and all that came through. Yeah, we got the pets, we got all the other stuff. Yeah, no, I don't remember either the controversy or the missing things.
Huh.
You got the recycler. Find a way to the fire lookout. Alright. Let's see, there were roofs you couldn't get to, for example, but honestly, you only tried it early, it had a decent amount of time. It had a decent time. Yeah, no, the other roofs you couldn't get to early, all of those ones became available. There were some roofs out in the distance, but those weren't the ones that had the coming soon. I'm pretty sure all the coming soon areas I remember we were able to get to eventually. Well, there's a download tower back over here.
A perfect spot to set up camp.
Nah, it's fine. And I really like Time Future. So are you something I can grab? Because I'm sure I'm gonna want almost all these things. Leaving the fires unput out is gonna be that sort of playthrough? Yeah, no, of course. Okay, can I interact with these? I cannot.
Oh, some useful supplies.
Got some ginger.
Ah, some food for the recycler.
But where is my cargo? Because I need a unit of wood. There we go. I just had to click on the display instead of the drop box.
Ah, that feels nice.
It's getting late, go to bed. Alright, so let's see if I go to sleep with the headlights on, if that's a problem. The thing that does make me sad from the accessibility angle is all the mini games in these days. For people with arthritis, dyspraxia, it can be frustrating to line stuff up and click that. Yeah, if I remember correctly, we go to our settings though. Mini games default off, easy default. So you actually can just straight up turn off the mini games if you so wish. Okay, so we got stairs and all that go over here. Now, granted, that could be taking a lot away from the game, which could be a bummer, but, you know.
Looks like I can download a blueprint at the signal tower.
So we can download an axe, which is recommended because we can cut down trees. We get the sickle, which we can get wheat with ease. And we get a pickaxe. It's recommending I get that. And I guess I must be storing my blueprints on accident? If this pleases you, you did find it...
Looks like I need a pickaxe.
You did find a setting in the alpha, which you appreciated. It was a long time ago, and like Cult of Lamb allows you to tweak them too. Yeah. And I know some people are like, no, but you made it too easy. It's like, nah, it's fine. It's the same thing of like when games have achievements that they're like, if you go into a custom mode, they're like, nope, you can't have these. It's like, ah. I'm okay with, for example, if specific settings... you know, very specific settings limit certain achievements, like, you know, an achievement related to the biters in Factorio being unavailable if you turn off the biters. But then all other achievements are still available. But it's kind of a bummer when you turn on like a basic accessibility thing. It's like, nope, all achievements gone. Alright, so far, there's definitely going to be a limited capacity of our vehicle, because that was one of the things I mentioned at the beginning. We can go here. Let's get the axe. And then, oh, okay, so we only get to download one at a time. That's fine. Wait, that's great. You're not used to anything really helping out when it comes to arthritis, because it puts you at long-term disability. And even the caseworker just told you, don't bother us for a year if you're doing better than we can going forward. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely good when games take into consideration accessibility. That's the reasons why we always check the settings and go, like, you know, do we have any wins here kind of thing. Recognize it where we can. Alright. Let's go here. We got the axe. And then the shoes need plant fiber, which we haven't seen a source of.
Ready to roll.
Alright, so let's see here. So we're on this road. If it's a competitive game that derives from gameplay loop from the competition, it makes it too easy just for one player to turn it off. Otherwise, it's allowing people to play. Yeah, no, exactly. It's one thing, like, if it's a competitive multiplayer game, sure. You know, if it is seen as, like, very distinctly giving an advantage, then you probably don't want to, you know, don't want to enable that kind of thing. But when it's a single-player game or a cooperative game,
Let's take a look what's in here.
That's 2 fiber. These handy homing boots charge by day and help you run faster to your vehicle at night. Homing boots. This is like fast travel back to the car. I'll also go here.
Would you look at that? I should clean this up.
Alright, maybe we don't grab all the rocks here. Because the accessibility has gotten better, but not all game companies design newer games with that. Yeah. Well, it's also one of those things that, if games are made right, a lot of times they don't... Well, I shouldn't say right. A lot of games can design themselves such that accessibility settings are not necessary. Okay, we can get food processing, sewing, which is not in the demo, and gardening.
Wow, new things to build.
Alright, well, let's get ourselves a food processor. Grab all the rocks. Well, I was looking at how much is here, I'm like, okay, I'm probably just going to get stuck doing this forever. The thing that's a little worrisome is we are just draining our vehicle, power-wise, and I haven't seen a way of doing anything to improve that. So we have a food processor. That's going to need a countertop to go on. And we're making ourselves some jam. The engine looked weird. Ah. Okay. Okay, yeah, so it's just we feed it wood. It depends on what it is. I'm sure game design would make some things no need for accessibility, like color blindness. Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. There's some games that it's very difficult to Okay, so I gotta feel that hunger is actually a bit of a meaningful thing. As a pure guess. I mean, I figured it was going to be something like that, or we get a solar panel, but whatever it was going to be very accessible, very easy in the game. Just because it would suck to be like right at the beginning of the game and then suddenly you're kind of in a stuck position because you drove around, which the game encourages you to do, and then your battery ran out. And let's go here. Give me my ticket. I would feed you, Bunny, but I'm out of berries.
Looks like I can download a blueprint here.
Sawmill. Will unlock a sawmill. Feel like a real lumberjack with a sawmill. Turns plain old lumber into hand planks. Right, little rabbits, I have to know. That's like a very different game as you'd like hold out the berry to get the rabbit to come to you and then just long dark, just grab the rabbit, snap. That long dark animation every single time, you're just like, ooh. Sorry, little bunny. Gotta eat. Looks like the rabbits have gone away. Alright, we'll deal with that later then.
Okay, let's go.
Alright.
Hey, buddy, you hungry?
Okay. We fed it. And then we gave it
I'll put
pets.
this in storage. Gotta tidy this up.
And then it just seems pretty chill about it.
Let's see what's inside.
Grab a unit of wood. There are 80
Feels nice.
campfires here.
That could come in handy.
Okay.
A tasty treasure.
You're too tired to sprint. Alright, let's go see if we can't lumberjack this. Does your little camper have a winch on it for getting over ledges? You can only build nearby your vehicle. I haven't figured out how to use the axe yet. We've got all that. That's all fine. But so you're curious to see what multiplayer is going to add. Like, it's certainly not going to be like Peak with lots of silliness. Yeah. I'll be curious as well. So we can go here. Here, hunger's all sorted. Alright, so we need another counter. Need 10 wood for that. So mobile base. Yep.
Looks like a light drizzle. A fresh new day.
Recipe discovered. Not in demo. Alright, so we can't go that way to get there. We can keep going up the road. Yeah, so we don't understand is we got the axe, and I was expecting to be able to, like, hack down trees with it. To get wood more reliably. But thus far, left click doesn't do anything. The interact button doesn't do anything. But it could be instead of chopping down trees, we just collect and that the axe is used for, like, clearing debris or something like that. You change weapons or whatever? Not that I've seen. It seems like mostly you walk up to stuff and you hit like the E button. And that does like the interaction. And if you've got the correct tool, then you know you use that respective tool. I did notice it said 98% full. We discovered a broken bridge.
I should clean this up. Oh, some useful supplies.
You cannot light a fire while it's raining. Not with that attitude. Not in the demo, not in the demo. Okay, I understand. Yep, so I still need 5 more wood, so if I close it up while those are running, I just assume they keep running.
Ready to
Oh,
roll.
right. I was gonna walk up here. Just in case. Yeah, so stone seems fairly easy to come by, so I'm not going to grab all of it. Just because we keep having things allude to a very limited inventory.
Healing supply secured.
Alright.
I can insert this disc in a terminal around here. Looks like I can download a blueprint here. This signal decryptor can probably be used in the nearby terminal. Wow, a password databank for the terminal.
Okay, so to clarify, we went up here, they gave us a disk for using with the terminal, they gave us a password bank and a decryptor, all for the terminal. Unlock the terminal.
I need to find these items.
Okay, so the paintbrush is not in the demo. The sickle, this sickle lets you sweep through large bushes with ease and all that. No downloads available. Alright, so we got ourselves new items there. We're gonna run down there and just slowly expand on our little van and all that stuff. They chose the air gap security approach, which they used actual fresh air on the rooftop.
This right here.
Yep. Okay, so you still need a little bit more wood. Okay, we got a pickaxe. Okay, so now if I were to go up here, let's just make sure we get more than just stone or whatever the limitation is. But so far, rock has not been a particularly hard to get a hold of resource.
Some more supplies for crafting.
Okay, so those just give me a bunch of rocks. This camper has some serious main character syndrome stuff going on. The bully go and just loot it and muck someone's computer. Yep. Yep, just roll in and be like, what are you doing, man? I live here. You can't just walk in here and start taking things. That's not cool. Oh, we got a chair over here. Okay, I found little ash things. 1 out of 100 gnomes. Alright, well, let's get our way back to our camper. 1 out of 100, well, good luck. Yeah, and I'm not going to worry about that in the demo version, because most likely we won't be able to access everything in the demo version. It seems like the style of demo this is that they actually had the game where it's at development-wise, and then just made areas you can't quite reach, and then things are just, like, disabled because they're not in yet. So, i.e., they took the actual game and kind of locked out some stuff. Stack rock. Cairn stacked, 1 out of 90. Okay. I see where this is going. There are collectibles aplenty. Okay, can I interact with this in any way? I can.
Looks like I can fix this bridge.
Alright, so for 10 wood, I can fix it. I also need 10 wood for the stuff in there. I've got 5 wood right now.
Time to hit the road.
Let's see if I can turn on the radio or something. There, that's what we'll use our axe on. Yeah, and that's 5 wood each. All right.
Perfect for the next project.
Okay. And if we overburden ourselves too much, it does seem to progressively slow us down. My assumption is that we took it to too much of an extreme, we would eventually get to the point where we physically wouldn't be able to walk. Okay. What am I seeing over here? Oh, it's a piece of metal. Alright, well, that in mind... let's go back to that bridge. We've got the wood. You like how the tool auto selects? Yeah. You know, we've commented that with like the slice of life sim genre and some survival crafters on that. I do like when you go into it and it's just, you know, you have like your various things to work on and you can just walk up, like hit the interaction button and not have to, you know, not have to fuss with like each and every one of them. All right. So you can get the bridge repaired. Oh, they're planks. They're not those, that's fine. So for that... okay.
Looks like rain.
Alright, so consume. Drop those off.
Time to drop off some stuff.
You see how it's easy to end up with menus for everything? With this sure faster. Yep. How the heck does a sawmill fill in a small? Yeah, it's just right there. I mean, I can see the sawmill. It's a little concerning that it's running while we're driving, but you know, it's just right there. I mean, it very clearly fits. It's like when people ask, like, how do you fit a giraffe in a fridge? I mean, you just put it in there. It's fine. And then you ask, well, how do you fit an elephant in the fridge? You're like, well, clearly you just put it in there. It's like, well, no, silly. You got to take the giraffe out first. The giraffe, you know, you can't have them both in there. That's just silly. All right. Because in real life, you've got a little Lucas mill you can take apart and pack into the back of a big car. So it works. Yeah, I forget what's the other one called. Was it Shopsmith? That's the one that's like a wood lathe, a bandsaw, a table saw, all of that kind of mashed into one like giant thing. I might be carrying too much. Side objectives. Charge your vehicle using the bioburner. Okay. Blue Goblin? Yes. Next question. Alright. The idea of this being like a wood-fired electric car is certainly a wild one. Bioburner. I see. It's gonna actually take quite a bit of wood to make that happy. How many planks do I have? 7? So 1, 2, 3. Okay, and grab a ticket. I've received a new radio signal to check my map.
Another signal tower.
The dog companion and the sewing are not available in the demo, but the gardening is.
Yes, now I can use a new blueprint.
Gotcha. So deposit puts them in the back there. So I've got all that. Close you up. So I've got a watering can. And no vehicle upgrades yet. Okay, so we got nothing planted yet. Alright, so... we'll want to work our way over there. Pick up every little bit of debris on the ground. Man, according to the notes there in the demo, there should be roughly about 3 hours worth of stuff going on gameplay-wise. Alright, so we've already explored this route. So we take the left path. We should be able to go and find our way over to that radio signal. Got some fallen trees here. All right.
I'll store this right here.
Yeah, multiplayer would be interesting just in the sake of, like... as much as we're trying to, like, move around and grab stuff, like, would it be just the one vehicle be going around? Because I assume it is.
Ah, some food for the recycler.
All right.
Perfect for the next project.
Okay, so that's to the right and then to the left. But so clearing all the fallen wood has pretty bad ecological ramifications. But yeah, interesting how my games continue to see it as more of a sustainable than felling trees. I think I can. I think I can. Okay, so this is the tower we went to before. So grab one of the tickets. Okay, we'll grab rocks on the way back. But yeah, and there's a lot of stuff in games that it's like, you view as like, oh, you just do this, it's fine. It's like, actually, that'd be pretty bad long term.
Looks like I can download a blueprint at this.
Like maybe you individually wouldn't do it, wouldn't be significant enough to do anything. But you know. Okay, so we got a furniture pack, a pallet couches, and green plants. Sure. I'm assuming anytime I'm gonna go to deposit this in the camper, it's gonna be like, yo, camper's full. Why did you... Why are you putting like an entire mountain in your camper's storage? Be reasonable, friend. So get the 10 planks going. Get you going. Alright, so for more stuff we can plant. Get camps, camping light and all that. So the question is, if I put a side table out here somewhere... I was expecting to have like an area we could set up out there to go with, but it's okay. You know, the camper will definitely be upgraded later. There's like a whole section that is for the camper upgrades. Alright, so we need to track a landmark. Interestingly enough... Oh, those ones are in yellow on my map. Because we haven't completed that because I couldn't light the fire in the rain. Yeah, so I take a right here and we want to go north. Gotcha. And so you can keep doing stuff after dark, but once it's after dark, you no longer can sprint.
Just what I needed.
So we got our shoes that make us go faster towards the car when it's dark.
A load off my back.
Okay. Okay, so we'll need to turn to the right. Now you can light the fire up here and repair the bridge. It does make me wonder with the engine overheating thing. Like, we're probably going to get engine upgrades that make us a lot faster, but produce more heat, stuff like that. It seems to be balancing out relatively fine on the heat by itself. Okay, lit up another fire.
Fire.
Okay, actually I made too many planks, but that's alright. Cool, we got the bridge replaced. Alright. So you can go to sleep. We got a brand new repaired bridge.
A fresh new day.
Your dangerously positive friend. And not just like you made some like sad little bridge to cross. You built like a proper bridge.
Hey, that's a cap and snap.
Alright. We get to use bottle caps to Gamba. I want a Gamba.
Let's see what I get this time. I'm feeling lucky.
Alright, so we get bobbleheads for our dash. And sadly, it's 2 bottle caps per attempt. Throw a lot of those. What do you mean that's not a upgrade to our vehicle? There. It had to be done. It was very important.
Time to hit the road.
Alright, so we got another point way back there. Alright, they got a do not... No entry. This is the end of the playable demo area. Okay, so we can't go into that side path. There's apparently a side path over there that's walled off. So this whole wall on the right-hand side is just... That's just, hey, that's not part of the demo. Get wrecked, nerd. Alright, so I'm assuming if I try to cross here, I'll just... Yeah, invisible wall. Alright. Take one of you.
More stuff for the recycler. I'll put this in storage. Oh, some useful supplies.
Alright. Honestly, the part I want to see the most is the upgrading of the camper. Because I'm sure there'll be some that are just like straightforward, your engine's better kind of thing, or your storage is more, or whatever. Ooh, wait. I see something right up here. It's a rock. It's very unexciting. Alright, so I gotta go back for one of my tickets here. Because that's what I want to see, is I want to see, like, do we get knobbier wheels that have, like, more grip? Like, what does this stuff look like? But I like the idea of this being based around your little camper van. You roll around, you get your upgrade tools, you make the van a little bit nicer, so on and so forth. And just have, like, a gradual progression and all that stuff. I did watch the video a while back that was like the trailer to this forever ago, but I've been waiting for this game for a long time, so I do not remember. I do remember like having decorations sitting outside of it, but we gotta figure it out. Okay, here we go. Choose a blueprint file to download. Download building. There we go. Base building deck. All right. Well, apparently we just had to mention it. And the game was like, here's your thing. Well, that's literally all you have to do. To get what you want in the game, all you need to do is either A, complain about it, or B, be like, I want it. And it'll just happen. That's just how it works. Or you start OBS. That's the other one. So if anything, this game has reinforced that I should always complain. And then I shall receive. Alright, so I need a tiny bit more wood. There's like nothing up here. Hey, Suey, how's it going? Hope it's some fun with your Project Zomboid and that. Can we get a shout out for Suey? Fellow member of the House Kid Frequency stream team, the stream team that I am on, and another fantastic content creator playing some Project Zomboid today, but does play a whole mess of games, which would not surprise me at all if this ends up being a game you'll check out. This is just the demo and all that stuff. You're in an ad? Ah, that's no fun.
Time to hit the road.
So I'm gonna need people to say a whole bunch of incredibly positive things about Suey. Unprompted, unprovoked. I mean, other than I guess technically I'm literally provoking you to do it. And just leave Suey wondering what the context of that is. Because one, Suey is absolutely fantastic. And deserves all the love that you can get and whatnot. But yeah, so definitely go check out Suey and all that stuff. But yeah, so definitely go check out Suey. Plays a whole range of games, has done like RimWorld, Project Zomboid, a bunch of indie games. A game like this is right up Suey's alley. We've done collabs with Suey before with like Planet Crafter and State of Decay 2, Project Zomboid, a whole bunch of stuff like that. And thank you for rating on the, or hosting on the YouTube site. That is the one thing I definitely need to pick up on, is figuring out hosting on the YouTube side. I need to figure that out. Yep. Yeah, for the record, I run the minimum amount of ads required to disable pre-rolls and not a second more.
Huh.
Ah, I see. So we're gonna have a road down there. Honestly, Turbo's been worth it. Yeah, no, when people ask me about, like, Twitch ads and all, it's like, I've been running Turbo for easily 5-6 years, if not longer. I haven't been able to take the bunny as a pet, but I have been able to feed the bunny and pet the bunny. So I could show the bunny some loving, but as far as actually, like, claiming the bunny, keep in mind, it's the demo, so most likely a lot of...
Gotta tidy this up.
Would it even take a few times to tame it? Maybe.
What a beautiful fire.
What a beautiful fire.
Let's take a look what's in here.
Yes. Fire. What are you? Reinforced plank. Okay. You give me something? Rough stuffing. Alright. Does the bunny bring you nuclear waste? Oh, what was that?
That could come in handy.
Okay, new signal received. And we found ourselves a gnome. Yeah, thank you again for the raid, Sue, and all that. We plugged you and we said a whole bunch of nice things about you and everything during your being trapped in the ad break, because that's just what you got to live through and all that. But
I'll
definitely
put this
feels
in
like the kind of
storage.
game that you'd probably check out as well. All right, so that goes to a different road. Let's go to the right. We got two things. I've got one, I got a signal I could download stuff from way on the south end. Let's get to Landmark first. Oh, Satisfactory, the doggo. Oh, yeah. The number of times, like, you'll have the doggo, you'll hear the Geiger counter start going off. You're like, no, Puffy. I appreciate your enthusiasm, but I need you to get away from me. Better not eat the bun. When we first fed it, it's like, man, if this is a different game, we would long dark it. Definitely wishlist this real quick. Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. The demo's available. You can just snag it on Steam. My understanding is the demo should take about 3 hours, is what the information they gave us was. But, you know, it's also demo things. You don't get to finish it, so that could definitely be a negative. You try not to play demos, to be honest. Honestly, a lot of times I avoid demos as well. In this particular case, it's like, you know, it's a cold drop.
Let's see what's inside.
A bunch of people are interested in this game in particular. Sure, why not? Alright, so let's open up our camper van. Get to our crafting table. So I need one more piece of wood. Now we can build the house on top of our van.
A fresh new day.
Alright, so start blending all that up. So a hiking trail.
I should clean this up.
Grab some wood and let's go look at the well. Got a bucket of water. A bunch of rough stuffing. Yeah, so it looks like this is just a back area here with some mushrooms. Is checking our inventory real fast. There's a windmill out in the distance. You like the idea of this game so much? You kind of wish it was, the van was just cartoonish. You kind of wish they made it deployable equipment in the camp set. Yeah, I mean, I really shouldn't. It's fine. Like, it's whichever. It definitely feels like a game that should be kind of on the silly side. I'm gonna go ahead and stack our rocks. I don't have a rock. Let me go back and grab a rock. Like,
More supplies for crafting.
between the art style and everything, I'm not expecting to be particularly serious. Plus, building the house on top of the RV kind of does make this game its own unique experience.
I should probably get something to eat.
That's just the weakness talking. Oh, we got another gnome. Alright, so you do your self-care and all that. Alright, so we're pretty full. So we're going to slowly and painfully walk back to our vehicle, because we don't make smart decisions about where we overfill our inventory. And the game will mock us by saying hold shift to sprint when we're overburdened and cannot sprint. But again, thank you so much for the raid, so I do appreciate it. Yeah, I have to grab all things? Absolutely. It's the law. If it is not bolted down, it must be claimed. If it is bolted down, well, we need to know, can we remove the bolts? Because if so, then it must still be claimed. You know, just extra steps. All right. If it is bolted down, then it was bolted down. Exactly. And then once the bolts are removed, then it's no longer bolted down, and it must be claimed. We do have a little bit of food being made in the vehicle, but yeah.
Thank you Fistful of Face for subscribing for 2 months.
And thank you, Fistful of Face, for the Prime Gaming sub. It sounded like it said Fistful of Face. I was like, what? Alright, we're almost there. And then the game is complaining about us being pretty hungry. We do have a little bit of jam made. We definitely need to unlock more recipes. I'm also like, it's a hiking path, and I'm kind of thinking I can definitely get my RV around that. Okay. Let's open that. Plunk you in there. Go in here.
Load off my back.
Consume that. And that's enough wood. So we can go over here and add the house thing on top of the camper. All right. The question is, how does one uppies? Oh, right here. All right. I see. Thanks for the Gigantify. Yep. Sometimes you just need some uppies. The wooden wall. Wooden wall with window. Alright. So we got work to do to get our things done.
Okay, let's go.
Alright, so we have to hike to this thing, so let's do this again. Only with actually going towards our objective.
This looks delicious.
Okay. I get people are into mushrooms, and I too am a fan of mushrooms, but I do think it's a little much to just like walk up to a random mushroom and be like, "This looks delicious! Oh, I can't wait to eat this! I'm so excited!" Discovered a large tree hut. I'll get you in a minute. First, I gotta stack my little stones. It's important. And give me all the mushies.
Huh.
The videos are pretty realistic. It's not so much cartoonist as it is animated. A bit of realism in the camper would be to your taste. I'm sure a lot of people would like the house topper too. Yeah. No, to me, like the game definitely didn't fit in the like to me, I look at this. Oh. Oh, I fell down and hurt myself. Read note. Flowers to be delivered after the festival. 1 windmill. The lookout, the lighthouse, the sunbeam acres. We're gonna take their water.
Project.
But yeah, not just one of the things. I like the artistic style. To me, this doesn't look seriously realistic in anything. Like even with a cartoony consideration.
Looks like I can download a blueprint here. Okay, I need to find these items.
It's going good. How's it going with you, Ultra? Can we get a shout out for?
Be used in the nearby terminal.
Can we get a shout out for Ultrasaurus and our fantastic content creator? Probably also going to be checking this out in the near term. Hi everyone, I made a list of all the things we need to pick up. If I missed anything, please add it. Water, wood planks, fresh fruit, new hammer, some small plant pots, red paint, and fresh nuclear. For those who don't know, Ultra is absolutely fantastic. Apparently you already did play Outbound, or has at least set their category to Outbound. Because I know you talked about playing it last night if you stayed up late enough. I want to take that. I want it to be mine. Glad you didn't immediately jump into multiplayer for this. Not enough content in your opponent, but perfect for a solo playthrough. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing as I was like, okay, what is the multiplayer actually doing right now? Because I find I stop and I grab the stuff nearby the camper in like 2 seconds, and it's time to get back into camper. I'm like, okay, so we're not quite to the point of having a bunch of stuff to do, but I imagine pretty quickly we'll get a lot more onto this. I think this will be a fun multiplayer game. But yeah, the demo's a little limited. What do you mean I can't grab the poisonous mushroom?
Wow, a password databank for the terminal.
All of these people's security measures are appalling. It's not like people where there's lots of silliness going on. Yeah.
Huh. Huh. Ugh. Looks like fog is rolling in.
Okay, so I need the disc. What did you play earlier on stream? So I started out with Big Ambitions, and then after Big Ambitions, I did my sponsored segment for Norse Oath of Blood. And then we're on to this. I had fun with pretty much everything I played today. My only snag here... Thoughts on Norse? If you like turn-based tactical games, it's pretty solid. I liked it. I did hear that a lot of people had complaints. I didn't run into any problems myself, but people were talking about like crashes and all that, but I didn't experience that with it turned up to its max settings. Like, I had a little bit of frame stuttering, but, you know, being on literal max settings, you kind of expect that kind of things. Alright, so I'm having a heck of a time with these ladders.
Ow!
Yeah. They look nice for sure. Steam reviews are confusing. There for what you saw. Yeah, it's always tricky with Steam reviews. Because, like, you have a bunch of Steam reviews that are now just people being trolls. That's one problem you run into, where people have their own, like, whatever nonsense they're dealing with, and they take it out in the game. And sometimes it's unfortunately on stuff that really shouldn't be relevant. We don't need to dig into that part too much. Alright, so let's see what happens with this. Eat some ginger. But, then you'll have, like, the performance issues, which is a fair complaint if you're having, like, crashes and performance. But there's a lot of cases those crashes and performance aren't even the game. Like, NVIDIA's had a history of just making crap drivers like every other driver. Like, NVIDIA's been my preference for hardware, but their consistency with making a good driver for their video cards is pretty appallingly awful. And then you have, like, you know, people who will sit there and be like, I've got, you know... Calm down, nature. But you'll have situations where, like, people won't read the minimum specs and they'll go and play the game, it won't work right, or it'll say, hey, you need to be on Windows 11. They'll be like, well, it's Windows 10, it should be good enough. And there's a bunch of that stuff. But then you actually have Steam reviews that you'll have, like, to give you an idea, we'll have Steam reviews that are like, oh, it's another game with a highlight option. Ruining gaming, making it for babies. It's like, well, just don't turn it on, man. Like, it doesn't hurt you that it exists. But you'll have people give bad reviews for that. I found the Steam reviews to be pretty difficult. Not said, it is worth checking them. Like, if you go in and you look at the Steam reviews, and there's, like, a ton of people complaining about the same problem, like the game is crashing or running slow or whatever, that's usually a strong indicator of a real problem. So it's rough, because I've actually seen a number of games that if you look at it, the Steam reviews would make it sound like the game is, like, absolutely terrible. And then you actually play the game, you're like, this is good, I don't know what these people are talking about. So it's tricky. So true. Many reviews are childish complaints. Because like you said, some complaints are stuff people get to shut up. Yeah, no, and like, it is worth checking the reviews. And don't get me wrong, when I've seen a game that's been, like, overwhelmingly negative, like, the reviews are just really, really one-sided, outside, again, of where, like, people are politically motivated, you know, those are usually an indicator, like, oh yeah, no, this is probably properly bad. But again, like you'll pop into and you'll see like the reviews, and it'll just be an endless series of people be like, "This game is woke," and you're like, "Okay, I could, like I could just properly ignore all of these reviews then, because
Download a blueprint here.
it's people being just crappy." Okay, so we do have 2 ladders here. Then you need to leave a good review to combat negative if you enjoy the game. Yeah, no, absolutely. Like if you're enjoying the game, reviewing a game positively if you're enjoying it absolutely helps. And then the other thing is, like, if you're not enjoying a game, when you're considering your review,
Okay.
are you not enjoying it because something wrong with the game, or are you not enjoying it because it's not a game for you? The first one, you should leave a negative review. The second one, and constructive feedback ideally. The second one, if it's just not a game for you, then that's nothing wrong with the game. Okay, so we can get this. So we got the sickle.
Things to build.
Like the second one, like, you'll have people be like, "Oh, this is a city builder and it's hoping is more of a settlement builder," and you kind of look, it's like, then why are you leaving it as a negative review? You're just saying it's not what you want, like, it's not the game you're looking for. But yeah, like, exactly, if it's one of those things, you're like, "Hey, I played this game, it's got a really bad memory leak and crashes," by all means, that deserves a negative review. And be like, "Hey, this game has a very big problem." Or like, "Hey, I got soft locked in the story and couldn't continue," that should get a review. You're like, "Hey, this game's got a pretty, pretty bad game-breaking bug." But there's a lot of times where I go into the reviews and you can just chuck half the reviews in the bin because you're like, "Okay, none of this had to do with anything." Is there something in the cubby? Can I break those rocks in the bottom? They looked later. No, I was hoping there's gonna be a gnome down there where we break the rocks. But like I said, sometimes you'll go into a game and they'll be like, "Hey, the UI is convoluted," and you'll just see that repeated a whole bunch. You're like, "All right, I get it. The UI is no good." That's worth knowing. Because I am definitely the kind of person who complains about UIs that are badly made. Alright, so we got the sickle. Alright. And go here. This game doesn't play like insert totally different game. Oh yeah, no, it's I don't do very many RTS games, but I've seen a lot of that in RTS and ARPG games where you'll have like, an action RPG game that'll be like, gritty whatever action RPG. Like they will mark it as like a gritty, slow-paced action RPG. You're like, "Oh my god, this game is so slow. It is nothing like Path of Exile." And you kind of stare at it for a moment and go, did it advertise it as being fast-paced or anything like Path of Exile? No. Okay, if it's not, like, if it's too slow for your taste, that's fair. And you can even sit there and give it a review and be like, "Hey, the game is pretty slow," and that's fair and reasonable. I wish there was better ways to, like, weight your positive and negative reviews. Be like, "Hey, this is a fairly neutral review," just to, like, inform you that, like, the pacing on the game is very slow. Like, it's not a negative, it's just, be aware that's the type of game it is. Let's see, do you know adding steps you don't need to their... Do you know you're adding steps you don't need to there is a consume button? Oh. There's a consume button from the storage menu? Yeah. Alright. The other places it mentioned deposit. There needs to be a review button that's like meh, Yeah, like a review button where it's like, I'm not negatively reviewing, like it's an informative review. So you've got like, this is a review saying I like the game, this is a review button saying I don't like the game because of, or like to quantify your review. So not just negative due to the game runs poorly, negative due to the game is unstable, negative due to the game is not well implemented or whatever.
This could be useful.
But like, go in and actually kind of quantify what's wrong with it, because it is one of those things that'd be like, negative review, just like the game is uninteresting or whatever. Being able to go in there and kind of qualify it, I think would be good. Yeah, so we can't go over there. That's not part of the demo. But speaking of reviews, Steam had an option where you can list your specs so people can get a better navigate how a game runs poorly, but also play it on a GTX 900. Yeah. No, and I do think it's actually fair that when a game, when it's reviewed poorly, I do think it'd not only be one so a person could check and compare the specs against their own stuff, but I also think it should be something that Steam itself compares it to, like the listed specs. So if the game says, hey, you need a 1080 or whatever, and you look at your specs and your thing is like an 880 or whatever, that it would kind of almost, I don't want to say it should just chuck the review, but basically if you're like, you are below specs, so you're saying it doesn't perform well, shouldn't even be considered. It should just kind of be like, yeah, you're below specs. Like almost
another cap and snap.
Almost have like Steam itself turn around and be like,
I think I need to charge
you're below specs. Like your review doesn't kind of matter for this.
Let's see what I get.
And to be fair, I think it's also fair that when you go to buy the game, it should actually go, and if it sees that you're below spec, it should almost have like a kind of a buyer beware, being like, hey, just so you know, like you may not have noticed, you are below spec.
Let me write this down.
Alright, so let's try and get down to the area here and see what blueprints we can get. Couldn't run on ultra graphics via integrated? Yeah, and it's not that you want to dismiss people's reviews, but there is kind of a qualification. With AI improving more and more, you can imagine that reviews in the future might be checked exactly those requirements to sort out. Yeah, I mean, again, we have to like qualify when we're talking AI. Are we talking generative AI? Like, what are we talking about? Because AI is kind of a bankrupt term right now, just by the fact that people are labeling everything as AI, even things that are inherently just nothing to do with AI. And by and large, while there are, like, that's the thing, like, is it AI or is it machine learning? Well, in a lot of cases, okay, well, it's machine learning. Where it's doing data comparisons and creating pattern recognition and using your models and all that. And also check out Azrael, another fantastic content creator. Does a lot of simulation games. So like Farm Sim, Euro Truck Sim, all that good stuff. Sorry, I didn't mean to avoid shouting you out, just on a thought. But it is one of those things that, like, broadly speaking, when it comes to like AI, it's very difficult these days because very little of what people call AI is actually AI. But as far as the specs, that can just be as easy as, like, when you're looking at it, you would just have the thing, because, like, Steam has where you provide its specs, if you so choose. And it could very easily be just when you provide it the specs, all it has to do is go, okay, based on the 4 or 5 key specs here, oh, that's not going to be part of the demo. Of these, do you have better than that or not? Hey, Italics! Thank you so much for the raid. I do hope you had yourself a good stream. If we can get a shout out for Italics, it might still be on cooldown. But if not, if we can get a shout out for Italics, I'd much appreciate it. Let's see. Sorting out reviews needs to be kind of a rating checking on it. In your opinion, it needs to be more than filter to check for words or specs. It needs to understand the wording. Well, then AI is not going to help you, because AI doesn't understand that stuff. AI is just pattern recognition. With models and everything. It's very, very complicated pattern recognition. But welcome to that RV travel game. Yes, this is Outbound. It is like a survival crafting game all based around your RV. We are building ourselves a little home on the back of our RV at the moment. And so we're just getting that sorted out. How do I make the doorway here?
Thank you Adalix for subscribing for 7 months. Streaming is also pattern recognition. I recognized I have a Prime sub to share.
And thank you, Talks, for the Prime Gaming sub. That's 7 months you've been subbed to the channel. I really do appreciate it. Hey, there is genuine pattern recognition in streaming. You are not wrong.
Thank you Asateek09 for subscribing for 1 month.
Okay, so we're slowly building ourselves a nice little house on the back of our camper van. I did run out of wood, unfortunately, though, so we go to sleep. But yeah, so again, check out Italics, absolutely fantastic content creator. Does a whole range of different games. I missed, what were you playing? I'm sorry. I missed what you were playing. So, grand strategy game where aliens are invading Earth is a game made just for you. There is a lot of games. Oh, Terra Invictus. Oh, yeah. Terra Invictus is excellent. And thank you for, Invicta. And thank you, Trico, for the 100 biddies. I really do appreciate it. Was that, ooh. Terra Invicta was Hooded Horse? Or was that Fire Shrine? I think, it feels like it was Hooded Horse. Yeah. Is Hooded Horse. Yeah. Hooded Horse is good people. We love us some Hooded Horse. We also like Fire Shrine, but we love us some Hooded Horse. They're good people, all that. But yeah, definitely check out, Italics, absolutely fantastic. Also definitely check out Hooded Horse games. They're also fantastic. But or like, yeah, it is against our contracts to use generative AI. So love that about that. Any Hooded Horse game, you can just know it's not going to have that in there, because they were like, yep, it is literally in our contracts. That is a violation of their contract if you use generative AI in your games with Hooded Horse. So absolutely love that. But at the moment we're playing some Outbound. It is a demo that dropped today. Shadow dropped. But it's this kind of cool survival crafting game that you explore the map. It's all based around this RV. It kind of gives you like raft vibes to a certain extent, in that you travel around, you collect your supplies, you build on your RV to add a bunch more stuff to it. Well, obviously you can control this more, and it's, drive around the routes. The demo, to my understanding, has about 3 hours worth of content in it currently. But it's been a very, a lot of people have supported it through Kickstarter and all that, and it's been coming along. It's got lots and lots of quality of life. RV There Yet, if it wasn't Friends Up. Well, I mean, RV There Yet, I believe, is more about being able to traverse cursed roadways and all that. This is definitely a lot more on the survival crafter, in the sense that I've got to load up my engine to keep it fueled up, to keep going. There's hunger gauges, there's health, all that stuff. Yeah, I was gonna say, the only similarity is driving. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, is the only similarity in my mind is the RV itself.
That could come in handy.
To me, it feels more raft, but RV. Though so far there's been like no combat. It doesn't seem like the kind of game that have combat either. All right, so the radio tower I'm going for over there. Yeah, so let's turn around and get to that radio tower. Yeah, raft vehicle. Yeah, it's just... Well, I haven't tried off-roading it. Seems to do okay. Yeah, so I need to get to that radio tower there, and we can download another blueprint. Off-road's like spaghetti. It definitely could be worse. But yeah, so a big part of this game is going to be building your house in the back of your RV, making your own, doing all that kind of stuff. And don't worry, we are driving an electric vehicle, so we are environmentally sound. As we just go to our electric vehicle, and we burn wood in it to make power. Definitely environmentally sound, don't worry about it. Grab one of our tickets. It's like having a coal plant in the back of your vehicle. Alright. Then grab some scrap wood. But for all the people we have popping in here, between like Italics and Ultra and Azrael and everyone else and Treacle, you know, if you don't mind sharing any of your plans this coming up week, if you want to share them, we can go ahead and get that going. I think for this one, let's get the pallet couches. So we can make our stuff there. You heard that a lot too? Yeah, it's like it doesn't have the raft thing where you're kind of drift and just dealing with it. And like where this is a little cartoony, it's not raft cartoony, but it's also definitely its own thing. Very good. You're achievement hunting in ETS, and they're so hard. I can imagine. Grabbing materials to grow a platform. Yeah, the big difference is we control this platform. I have to know. Alright, I'll bite. I don't have great expectations for how that's going to turn out. But, you know, I have to know. Oh, I mean, okay. That's fair. Okay, we've got a broken bridge here. Not in demo. Alright, I won't worry about that. The game also has a bunch of different collectibles. Like a whole bunch of different collectibles. You can find gnomes around of like all sorts of different styles. There's supposed to be 100 of them in the game. There is a bunch of these little like stacks of stones, the cairns that you can like put your extra little stone on the top of it to, you know, add to the stack.
Just what I needed.
There is breaking your knees by overlooting everything because, let's be honest, just between me and you, you're all gonna grab entirely too much stuff and deal with that, and that's the life you live. We're just all gonna do it. I might be carrying too much. It's fine. It's fine. The consequences of our actions can't hurt us. Fun fact, in Canada, we're told to not make cairns, that the Inuk sucks, and to knock them over if we see them. Interesting. Bad for the environment to be displacing stones, especially in tourist-heavy areas. Gotcha. We actually covered earlier that, like, every other game has you picking up, like, random pieces of wood off the ground to make stuff. And also mentioning that that actually can be bad as well. Because so many animals depend on that, like, dead wood, rotting wood, all that. Alternate plan, drive the van to all the loot and shove everything into it. There we go.
Huh. A load off my back.
All right.
Okay, let's go.
You're a roving ecological disaster and survival crafters? Yep. At least factory automation has the fact that it's honest about what you do to the environment. Like games like Factorio, where as your factory grows more and more, you notice it's not exactly the most positive impact on the planet. Okay. Probably also not good for the environment to roll around and just start mining random piles of stone. And then just, you know, chucking them in our vehicle. There's definitely the, like, 30 or 40 large piles of rocks we've chucked in the back of this thing. Definitely not good for anything. Oh, I didn't check. Do we get another radio signal yet? No, not yet. Yeah, so this tiny area is over here is with the playable demo. This is one region. There's supposed to be 4 regions. Oh, you can actually see it. So there's 3 paintings. Ah, okay. So it's showing that in this area, the playable area at the beginning, there is 20 cairns, 20 campfires, 25 gnomes, and 3 paintings. Alright. Remember hearing Factorio was a woke game list because the pollution negatively affected the planet? We were talking about how useless Steam reviews can be sometimes. That is a perfect example. They'll be like, this Factorio is by a bunch of environmentalists because you can absolutely trash the environment by just, you know, covering the whole planet up with coal. Yeah, I mean, if I'm in a small area and I got like 30 coal plants, I have a feeling it's going to be a negative impact on that. And it is a thing that, like, when you have a bunch of coal plants, it actually will turn the water green recently. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all. Alright, so I need to find a place where I can get a bunch of wood. Because we don't use our axe to chop down trees. And so I gotta find fallen logs. And I do not know, like, what the rules are with, like, respawn of materials and all that. I'm assuming they respawn because the area of the map we're in is not huge. It's not like a bad size or anything. But, for just delving around that. You can also irradiate the ground by firing off nuclear blasts, which weirdly absorbs more pollution than plain old concrete. Yeah, no, that's definitely one of those ones I remember is I am notorious in Factorio when I'm doing, like, my really long runs, that I will go anywhere my base is, and I will just pave over everything. Just one giant concrete area so we can get the faster movement speed. But it's definitely one of those things, when you got concrete everywhere, the pollution gets even worse. That said, to be honest, in Factorio, I do actually enjoy the whole thing where, you know, you get your pollution to be worse and worse, and you just kind of watch the trees in the area slowly die. There's gotta be a limit to this thing, right? Not yet. Not yet. Still going. Absolutely. Alright. It's fine. Come on. You can't let me keep doing this. Okay. Oh, there is a weight limit. Okay, it's a weight limit. So it's not a size limit. We've hit one of our... We can have 20 weight on top of our vehicle. So I could potentially push that far. Alright. Let's see. You're like the oh yeah, no, if you're doing speedrunning stuff in Factorio, then yeah, the way a lot of speedruns go is just getting everything done before the biters are a problem. And usually they'll have to kill like maybe 1 or 2 biter nests. But yeah, no, a lot of times you can just work your way around it by just being fast. Okay. Alright, so you cannot remove the ladder that's inside the camper. I was curious about that. So, at first I thought one of those was a door. Can you add another level? Probably. Yeah, no, you can add more floors up. We're probably not going to be able to do too much with that, though, unfortunately, just because of... So we're not going to be able to do too much of that just because weight limit kind of things. And a little bit of a... There we go. Okay, run out of wood.
Okay, let's go.
All right. You know, I can definitely add another level. I'm waiting to see... Oh, did we get our blueprint thing? Yeah, so imagine if we weren't in the demo, I would be able to work on, like, expanding all that, you know, and going off to more places. Whereas because we're in the demo, it's mostly just driving around in circles now and building on our little thing on the back, which is going to be a core aspect of the game. Just like in Raft, you'd sit there, you know, you would just cruise around and you'd have you either one working on the next objective and trying to go straight towards the next objective to get whatever the next thing is. And if you're not doing that, then you're just kind of picking up the rubbish, you know, making your raft bigger, adding more interesting things to it. Alright. Okay. Cool, I guess. Alright. Let's go ahead and go here. Alright. So we got ourselves the start of something nice. So I can go down here. And slowly making ourselves a nice place to go.
Huh.
All right. There's just something about... So wait a second. Would that matter? What? But the left and the right section don't matter. You can just rotate. So there's the right section. You rotate that, and then the left section, you rotate it. It doesn't matter. You can just rotate it. It'll work in any of those. You don't need those. You don't need a right and left. You just need a corner. Okay. I mean, it's fine. It doesn't hurt anything. It's just confusing is all. And you got the thing. Ah. Okay, so you got a little thing there. Alright. Oh, I missed that there was all the extra tabs. Yeah, so you got all your progress for like finding the different places. That's all kind of cool. Yeah, so you got both the points. There's no more points of interest in the demo. We have the two more... Yeah, so we've already seen the other two things were just more furniture. We just haven't gotten them yet. We have two workstations we haven't seen yet. We've got a bunch of materials. We literally have all the crafting stuff in the demo right now. And there's only 6 of the gnomes in the demo right now. So it does look like we're probably pretty much just about wrapped up with the demo, unfortunately. That I don't really see much opportunity to do more beyond just driving around and adding more stuff up top. But with the limitations, that's kind of where we're at. So overall, I would definitely say I've had a good time with the demo. We're about 2 hours into it to wrap it up. So where they had estimated about 3 hours, I could assume if you were trying to like find some of that other stuff, you would probably be somewhere in the area of 3 hours or more if you struggle to find them. Because that's just a thing. But yeah, no, I really like the game. It is just the demo. So it's a little dry on the content side, but it's a demo. I like the overall premise they've got going on here, with like you build your base and it tucks away and all that. It's also there's something definitely it's fine. That is there's nothing to be worried about that. Certainly that is a perfectly reasonable and stable construction we have going on there. Good thing we picked up the 0-point module the other day. Yeah, I definitely can see where it gets a little goofy. Part of me kinda wants when you fold that out, that it would like put like stilts or something down there to make it look a little less silly. So just like you'd have like little fold down supports or whatever for here when you have it sticking out like more than say 2 tiles. So that the idea is in theory it's supported. Even if it doesn't functionally do anything. Because it does look pretty weird. But hey, the world where you have a working sawmill van, we can have a house and a car. Yep. Just bounce up and down. The end hangs over, instant disaster. Casually popped a Carl out of your bag. Your spies hasn't tipped over at this point. Well, that's the thing. It clearly doesn't have the physics for that. Which I think that's totally reasonable and fine. That doesn't have the physics. I do feel like it would make sense to be able to say like supports on, and it'd be something like the corners that have just like some 4x4 like fold out legs or whatever. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is we're not gonna wrap up for the night or anything. I still have at least an hour left on the stream, but I do think we're gonna be done with the Outbound demo just by the fact that we kind of did what's there. So I didn't have another plan in place for what I was gonna do at this point. And so I'm kind of debating, because I could jump into our existing Timberborn save as one possibility. I'm not sure an hour in that game gives you much chance to do really anything. I could jump into our Big Ambition saves I've been playing, and I don't have another demo ready, Luxray. And it'd take me too long to find one and do that. So it's definitely one of those ones that it would have to be something I got handy. So I think we might just jump into Big Ambitions again. We were already doing that, or I already have it on my wish list. So all that. So if you're over on the YouTube side, the stream will probably be dropping over there in a second. So don't forget to like and subscribe on the YouTube side. But I'll be back with probably more Big Ambitions over there. So we'll get that going. And then over here, let me go ahead and grab that. And that's just because Big Ambitions, we got it loaded, we're ready to rock and roll. I could flip it very easily.